Did you know that according to United Nations figures, 40 billion tons of sand are used every year? Most of it goes into the construction of roads and buildings, just like you see in my background. But dredging vast amounts of sand and pebbles from the seas leaves our coastlines more vulnerable to storm surges and monster waves.
Yes, indeed. It's now illegal to mine sand from the coasts of Togo, but the impact from previous decades is plain to see. Permaculture Togo, a small local initiative based near the capital Lomé, aims to show how this sandy 55-kilometer-long coast can be protected from erosion and potentially used as farmland.
Sand miners dive under the waves again and again, filling their nets with heavy shell sand. What they are doing is illegal, but building contractors pay high price for the sand. The miners only need 10 euros a day because mining the sea is steadily encroaching on land. The beach beside Togo's capital, Lomé, is gradually disappearing. Isaac Sato and his friends pray every morning for the sand mining to stop. They also pray for good harvest. Just a stone throw from the beach, he and his family have a fruit and vegetable garden. His garden is planted in the sand, but it is enough to feed the entire family. When it is hot, the garden needs to be watered several times a day.
You can harvest the vegetables after a few weeks. We pull out the weeds and put down fresh dung, and a month later we get more vegetables. We repeat this 4 to 5 times a season. Everything depends on the condition of the soil.
The garden is at the risk of being washed away by the sea. Komi Kokuda has an initiative called Permaculture Togo. Everything he and his colleagues have planted on the beach has grown in the last year. They want to show how part of the beach can be turned into a vegetable garden. Permaculture means building a sustainable form of organic farming. They rely solely on renewable resources that nature itself provides.
A single coconut palm can't hold back the sea, but if you plant many palms together, like here, then the roots soon interlink. They pull together, if you like, and then they have more of a chance against the waves.
But for that to work, the ground has to retain its moisture. Natural materials like shrubs, animal dungs, and wood shavings are added to the sand, which allow it to retain water that keeps the plant strong and healthy. In 5 years' time, the coconut and banana trees would be large enough to stop the sand from washing away and also feed more families. The sand mining and the bigger waves are a huge problem along Togo's coastline. Environmental activist Fabrice Ebe from Lomé has spent the last 15 years observing the disappearance of land.
Cemeteries are being washed away, houses too, and biodiversity is suffering. Trees and many other kinds of plants are disappearing, even farmland. There's a lot of marshland that is farmed along the coast. Everything that's by the water is gradually being washed away year after year. And residents are left in this vicious circle of poverty.
In Rain Kavuvi Garden, the bananas are ripe for harvest. Everything here is planted in sand. Many of Togo's coastal residents could have gardens like hers if they plant at the beach, according to the principles of permaculture. She runs a dried fruits and herbs business. 7 times a week, she dries up fresh mangoes and pineapples in the sun.
This is where I dry my fruit and herbs. I try to keep everything as clean as possible. People like that. Of course, I have to fetch them out at the right time, otherwise they go hard, and then I can't sell them.
Rain Kavubi has gradually expanded her garden. A packet of chilies costs about 2 euros and lemongrass costs 1. Conservationist Fabrice Ebe talks regularly to the residents of these coastal areas. He says if local people and government of Togo don't act fast, this tract of coastal land will be swallowed up by the sea within 20 years.
And now on to South Africa, where we feature people fighting to protect one of the most exceptional wild cats, cheetahs. Did you know that this sprinter can reach up to speeds of 100 kilometers per hour? But now that fastest land animal in the world is losing its most important race, the race for survival. Our reporter took a closer look at the cheetah outreach project near Cape Town. The animals living in captivity there could help us to save their counterparts in the wild.
Cheetahs can reach speeds of up to 110 kilometers an hour. So here, this cheetah is barely breaking a sweat. But then he's only chasing a toy.
Romeo, you've been fed already.
The Cheetah Outreach Centre in Cape Town is home to 11 of these big cats. They were brought in from ethical breeding programmes where they were hand-raised, so none of them are wild. The cheetahs are kept in captivity so that they can serve as ambassadors for their wild cousins. It gives visitors the chance to bond with the predators.
For the cheetahs especially, they're non-aggressive, they're a runner, not a fighter. And for us to show that you can have this amazing relationship and bond with a wild predator, and if they can learn to trust us and live in harmony with us, we should be able to show the same emotional maturity and learn how to live with them as well. This is supposed to be the love affair.
Cheetah numbers have fallen drastically from around 100,000 just over a century ago to a little over 7,000 today. Farmers pose the greatest threat to these big cats. Almost 2,000 kilometres away, farmer Mornay Brummer prepares to release his flock of goats for the day. It's not always been easy letting them roam. In the past, animals have been lost.
We chose an area, or the area chose us, which is quite difficult to farm in. We've got cheetah, we've got lion coming through occasionally, leopard, caracal, jackal. There's numerous predators in this area.
Many farmers kill the predators to protect their livestock, but Brummer was offered another option. Cheetah Outreach gave him a dog, and not just any dog. When integrated with the flock as puppies, Anatolian guard dogs are fiercely protective. Today, Brummer is visiting the dog breeding centre. The programme provides farmers with a dog for free and pays for its upkeep for 1 year. Now there's even a waiting list for the animals.
No, I'm well, thanks.
Cheetah Outreach Project Manager Dion Cilliers has come too, to see how the dogs are doing.
The Anatolian Shepherd is quite a huge dog. He's quite bold and he stands back for nothing. They are not attack dogs, they are not aggressive at all. And they would just start barking when a predator is around, and usually that's enough to scare predators away.
Back in Cape Town, schools often visit to learn about the organisation's activities and the dog project. Education plays a big role in the work of Cheetah Outreach. Most children in this part of South Africa will never get to see a cheetah in the wild. The big cat can be found in the northern provinces, but not this far south.
How many cheetahs do you have? Them being in captivity is a very important role to play in terms of the preservation of their wild cousins through the awareness, the education, conservation of a genetic pool of cheetahs, because there are so few of them left in the wild.
Cheetahs are already listed as vulnerable by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. For a species coming ever closer to the brink, wild cheetahs need all the help they can get to ensure they have a future in South Africa and beyond.